This is the Gambling Gauchos.
Welcome into the Gambling Gauchos. I am Rob Bro. Kyle Jacobson will join in a minute. This is a recording of our Twitter Spaces responding to the Day of the Cactus. Again, this is a Twitter Spaces episode, so it is the unfiltered, unblemished fan reaction, and some fans do come unfiltered. We want to say a quick thank you to our sponsors, Barnett, Howard & Williams, Diversified Lenders, Code Ninjas, Rehino Barbecue, and of course, the title sponsor, Cardinals Sports Center Studio, where we record all these gems. Please rate and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Gambling Gauchos. Hashtag road to 10,000 followers before kickoff. I don't think that's an official hashtag, but it's kind of a goal of ours. Tell your friends. Rate and subscribe. We love y'all. Here is the Twitter Spaces reacting to the Day of the Cactus.
Anything happened on Twitter today, Rob?
Not that I know of, man.
Yeah, me neither. I guess we'll just talk baseball news. A couple guys drafted.
Yeah, some prospects got drafted.
Yeah. I think that's what everybody's tuning in for.
You ready to record?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Welcome into the Gambling Gauchos. I'm Rob Bro. He's Kyle Jacobson, recording live on Twitter from the Cardinals Sports Center studio. What are your thoughts on cactus emojis, Kyle?
I love cactus emojis. I tweet many cactus emojis.
Did you wake up today thinking you would tweet over 1,000 of one emoji? I mean, I wake up every morning thinking that, but it just happens to be different emojis.
I thought, when I went to bed last night, I thought that making that TCU assistant coach delete his tips button out of his bio, I thought that was going to be like...
That feels like a week ago.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be the mountaintop, and then it turned into like a top 3 day on Texas Tech Twitter all time.
You sending that coach 2 cents, quite literally 2 cents, with a paragraph also was one of the top things you've ever done, and I'm proud of you for it.
Well, thank you. I was also maybe a little bit surprised at how swiftly that was removed. Like, I checked 2 minutes later, and that button was gone. And that was smart of him, because I feel like a lot of people would have piled on and sent him 1 cent or 2 cents.
That's the dumbest thing he's done, to take it out. He would have gotten dollars, man.
Dollars. Maybe
multiple
dozens of dollars.
Dozens of dollars. I just can't believe a paid university employee was that pressed about another set of students making money.
Well, and when are they going to stop? Like, okay, it's one thing for a fan base to go crazy on Twitter, but why is TCU's athletic director and why is TCU's director of recruiting sending out tweets from their official accounts?
About drama.
Yeah, like just stirring the pot.
I guess you could say that it's the same thing that the university employees at Texas Tech are doing now, but it's just a response to what they've done, I guess.
Well, okay, and like the first time with the athletic director,
yeah,
you could say maybe he foolishly didn't understand that Texas Tech Twitter was going to drag him. He should have known.
The university's official account got dragged 2 days before.
True, but they especially should have known after that happened. And yet that director of recruiting, I honestly can't think of his name.
Brian.
Just like Brian?
Yeah, Carrington.
Brian what?
Carrington.
Okay. He decides to, make that thread and then like double down on it, triple down on it today and tell us that he's playing chess or something.
Oh, yeah. What's with these people saying they play 3D chess?
I don't know.
You're getting ass stomped on Twitter and you're playing 3D chess with us? No, you're not. You're playing Tiddlywinks.
I'm sure he thinks he is.
You're playing Tiddlywinks, dude. Come on.
No. He, just
playing chess.
He thinks he's playing 3D chess. Yeah, there must have been some sort of like team meeting tonight because every single Texas Tech player on the roster tweeting the cactus emoji #Reckham at the same time was
beautiful.
Oh, at first I thought like, okay, cool. Like a few players are getting in on it. I like refresh Twitter once and there's 20 tweets right there.
Yeah.
I was like, this is awesome.
Is this Heisman candidate Cole Garrett in the spaces?
I think so. I think the Texas Tech school record holder for career passing efficiency.
Yeah, it's 1 for 1 with a touchdown.
Yeah.
Do you remember who that touchdown was too? Trivia.
Eric Ezukama.
It was to Eric Ezukama, his first.
Yeah. Man, we also talked about this on, I guess, Sunday when we recorded, that, without all the drama with the TCU athletic director. Yeah, there probably would have been some Dallas-Fort Worth area Texas Tech alumni in attendance at that game. And then they foolishly poked the bear and turned this into sort of a call to action. And then, like I said, just decided to double, triple down today. I have no idea what their end game is. And maybe this is the 3D chess that I'm not seeing. But all it looks like to me is them getting embarrassed in front of recruits, fans, their peers in the coaching and recruiting industry. So, I mean, I guess more power to them. But
hey, I want to talk about just the actual announcement yesterday, the Matador Club and all that. But also, just Texas Tech Twitter is awesome. I love it. It is.
Yes.
If you get on the wrong side of it, or you even on my end, like if you say something stupid or have a take that Texas Tech Twitter doesn't like, you get it. And I've been through the ringer myself, but just imagine if football is good, because this is with 10 years of mediocrity and below. And the fan base has unified like this under Joey McGuire, who's not coached a down. Not a down. He's recruited a little bit, but not coached a down. And the Twitter unification today has just been incredible. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, Jakeem Grant, Terrence Steele, a bunch of ex-players, Johnny Mack, Cole Roberts, shout out to Cole Roberts and Diversified Lenders, BJ Simmons. It's just an amazing amount. Just the fans, the players, the coaches. I mean, it's just unreal. They haven't coached it down yet, and the whole universe of Texas Tech people are behind him.
Yeah, it honestly rivals, the unity that we saw before the Texas Tech versus UT game in Lubbock, when it was a blackout, people camping out, changing their profile pictures on Twitter. And I feel like there was also sort of a grassroots movement on Twitter before Joey was hired, all the Hire McGuire stuff. But at that point, I think the people who still didn't, or who weren't that familiar with him, kind of weren't in on the action. And, since then he's done press conferences, he's recruited, and they are starting to get it. They watch the brand on ESPN Plus. And so I feel like today was even more hyped than like the Hire McGuire stuff on Twitter, because people know him, like everybody knows him now. And yeah, I've never seen something like that where even the coaching staff and players get in on like what was initially just sort of a meme and like a fan thing and just go all in on it like that.
It's unprecedented, I would say.
It was. Let's get to our first request, because this is the People's Podcast. We've got Glass University, and I like where this is headed because they've got the cactus emoji in the username, and they've got a picture of a camel for the profile picture. So
it's beautiful.
What's up, Glass University?
Hey, I just saw y'all talking. I heard y'all talking about the chess, like the TCU admins playing chess, and everyone's saying like, oh, they probably want us to buy tickets, and I think that they might want us to buy tickets, but like, how is that chess? It's like they might make money, but we're going to beat the shit out of them. It's awesome.
Well, but yeah. The Amon G. Carter Stadium has sold out the last 3 times Texas Tech has been without this. So it's not like they're trying to sell out a 70,000 seat arena. It's 40,000 seats. Like, it's going to sell out regardless.
When people don't forget, I mean, like, there's bulletin board material, and then there's this. Like, I've seen bulletin board material, and it's like, okay, that was one tweet or one headline, and then it kind of – I've never seen an entire fan base just put the same exact emoji in their display name and tweet all day about cacti.
In July.
Like, it's going to be insane to lead up to that game. Like, people aren't going to forget this. We're just going to re-up it as soon as the clock hits 0 on whatever game is before TCU. And then we're going to read out our profile pictures on Twitter. The folks that go to the game in Fort Worth are going to wear all red. We're going to be seen in that stadium, and we'll bring up all the cactus stuff again. So I don't know why they are so intent on poking the bear, but I say let them. Obviously, it's galvanized this team, the coaching staff, everybody, the fan base. So I'm glad they did it. It was a lot of fun on Twitter today.
It was. Hey, thanks, Glass University. Let's go back to the actual Matador Club, Kyle. The announcement yesterday, $25,000. It's going to be renewable if you stay year to year. Just, I guess, basic broad thoughts on your response. I know we knew it was coming, but the dollar amount and 15 walk-ons, 100 total. Just, I guess, what you think it's going to do to recruiting and otherwise, just players already here.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think the way they set this up is perfect. And this was something when you and I interviewed Cody Campbell a month or two ago, maybe, patreon.com/gambling gauchos if you want access to that interview. He talked about we need a sustainable model. We don't want one guy in the locker room who drives a Ferrari and everybody else gets a $50 Texas Roadhouse gift certificate. He said we want, every single player, walk-on, starter, fifth year, first year, to have the same access to the same amount of money. And the beautiful thing about this, yeah, some guys can still earn more because they can go do an additional NIL partnership. But this gives you a baseline. Every recruit now knows, like, even if I don't get other NIL benefits, I'll have this baseline. And I heard you and Hyatt talking about this on the radio, that maybe that part of it is overblown. I don't think it is, because people in the office workplace, they still make different amounts of money based on experience or job title, whatever. But everybody has, the same health insurance. There's a minimum wage. We work the same 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. And that's what this does for everybody. And it's on a higher level than all of your peer programs for sure. And pretty much on a higher level than just about anybody. I mean, there might be schools like in Alabama that I think they've got 3 million instead of 2.5 million on their annual payroll. But giving every kid the same baseline, I think, is a perfect way to do it. And I sincerely hope and think that with the energy behind this, that they'll be able to expand this to basketball, baseball, Olympic sports, everything. And this will just be part of our identity as an athletic department.
Yeah, and it's only going to grow. And I think the Matador Club, what they're doing is so special because this isn't a ceiling that you can reach, because it's just as much as Texas Tech fans can put into it. And you've seen today, if you get their minds together, they can do whatever the hell they want to. Or we have Astros. I don't know if I want to let this guy in Astros stuff, but go ahead, man.
I just want to say I just got done with orientation at Tech this past weekend. Fucking love the campus, love the tradition. Can't wait until I get there in the fall. This is actually my first interaction with Texas Tech Twitter, and when I'm saying I followed pretty much every Texas Tech fan account, and the Cactus were flying in the timeline and shit like that, and I cannot wait until this fall, going to the games. I'm actually a journalism major and stuff like that. I want to get into the Twitter stuff and for accounts and stuff. So this is all up my alley, and I can't wait until this fall. And when we beat TCU's ass, it's going to be something I can't wait for. So that's all I got to say.
Well, congrats on starting orientation. And it's actually like this every single day on Texas Tech Twitter. So get used to it.
Never ends. In the best way possible.
Yeah. So yeah, so I got home from work today and my wife was like, "What is this Cactus stuff?" And I kind of had to explain it. I would guess most people in here understand, but just to kind of set the table, after the Matador Club announcement that you were just talking about, Rob, a TCU assistant coach, I think he's their director of recruiting, some title like that, starts this thread. And honestly, I want your thoughts on this, Rob, but to me, that thread read I'm going to throw as many big, economic sounding words out there to kind of confuse 17-year-olds reading this into thinking that them earning $100,000 to $125,000 over the course of their collegiate career is no big deal. And I do get some semblance of truth to what he was saying, that it does go beyond just that paycheck. But I mean, it also was like completely just sour grapes.
Yeah, if that's all they were doing.
Yeah, TCU doesn't have anything comparable to this, and he's trying to sell them on like, oh, well, can you do it in that marketplace once you're not wearing the uniform?
That's what got me.
Absolutely. So he's trying to make this pitch so he said that we were out in the desert and used the cactus emoji. That's where all this started. But it's so stupid coming from TCU because they're like 12th place in the sports pantheon in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Yeah.
They're behind the Rangers, the Mavs off season, the Stars, the Cowboys off season. They're following. They're probably about the same as SMU and UNT.
If you're going to get a billboard in Dallas or Fort Worth, are you going to try to get the backup punter or the star from TCU? You're going to get the backup punter with the star on his helmet from the Cowboys.
You could literally put a stock image of me wearing the Cowboys star and it'd be worth more than Trevon Boykin or whoever in a TCU form.
And
whereas
you just can't do that in Lubbock because the Double T owns the market.
Exactly. The opposite of that is that Texas Tech is the ticket in town in Lubbock. We have the Lubbock Matadors now. That's the only professional sports we have. But like, if you're succeeding on the field in Lubbock at Texas Tech, we've seen this in other sports. Guys like Tariq Owens, Matt Mooney played here 1 year, and they left 3 years ago, and people still talk about them, interact with them on Twitter, go to their camps, buy their merch. Lawrence Odiase, listen to his podcast. So the whole he was off base with his entire premise that once you leave the university there out there in the desert, you'll have no brand identity, no name identity, and then it's all for naught. Whereas I guess his point was if you play in Dallas Fort Worth in the big city, everybody will know you after you're done playing. I don't buy that for a second.
When he went way further, he was like, you can't raise a family there. You can't build a business there. I guarantee you there's people in Lubbock that have built businesses, you jackass. I mean, he just got so personal about it. And that's the only reason that's not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons I was cool with just hammering him all day because he just got so personal with the entire fan base and the entire western part of the state that he has no idea about.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, okay, how do the kids from Lubbock, I'm blanking on his name, but the kid from Lubbock, Coronado, who committed to TCU a couple years ago, Blair Conrad, how does he feel about his hometown being talked about like that? How does the Dykes family, Sonny Dykes is the head coach there now, how do they perceive that? And if you're going to recruit Major Everhart or players like that from this region of the world.
Avion Carter just committed.
How are you going to sell them on that when you are literally tweeting publicly that you think their hometowns are out in the middle of nowhere, a place where you can't raise a family, get an education, start a business, whatever he said?
Yeah, it's like, hey, let me come save you from your redneck oasis here in West Texas and bring you to the big city. So you can do it from here, man. From here, it's possible, they say.
That is what they say. I mean, it'd be like as stupid if you're trying to recruit this state. It'd be about as stupid as like delving into a Dallas versus Houston debate, knowing that like 90% of the prospects come from those two metro areas.
Yeah,
and you're just gonna like trash one or the other on Twitter, and then go into those high schools and try to recruit that area. And I know that West Texas doesn't have the same volume, but I don't know. Like, to me, good luck recruiting in Amarillo, Lubbock, the Permian Basin. After all that. And, that's great. More for us, more guys staying home, hopefully, and wearing the scarlet and black.
Yeah, and it's the same thought process that these Pac-12 guys have that are writing about the Big 12, how the Big 12 has no value. It's just a bunch of flyover country. Wouldn't you much rather have the Bay Area and Seattle? You think anybody's watching Washington football in Seattle? No, they're Seahawks fans. Talk about a saturated market. And the rest of the Pac-12, what they're doing is like, okay, we own California. No, you don't. USC owns California, and they're in the Big Ten now.
Yeah.
There's no value there.
Yeah, and I think moving up to a 30,000-foot perspective on this, just with the NIL conversation in general, I think programs that are located in college towns or where the university is kind of number one are going to do a lot better than pro sports.
100%.
Especially a pro sports town that has like 3 or 4, maybe 5 with MLS franchises there. because it gets drowned out. And like you said, they want Cowboys players on the billboards. They want Rangers players on the commercials. Like, sorry, but TCU and SMU just don't add that value, like the advertising marketing value in Dallas-Fort Worth, like the Cowboys, Stars, Rangers, Mavs do.
No.
I think. I mean, and I could be wrong, but like I look at, it's the same with USC and UCLA. Like, that's a pro sports town. And especially now that the NFL is in Los Angeles and they've got 2 teams there, people like the Lakers, they like the Dodgers. It's hard for UCLA football to like really stand out in that market, in my opinion. So I think the Miami's, the Georgia Tech's located in Atlanta, places like that might kind of struggle. They might not. They might have a lot of money behind it, but
Miami has the big ones, but can they get the volume and all the way down the roster like Texas Tech is able to?
Yeah.
Or Tuscaloosa or Ann Arbor, and have true brand recognition in the city.
Right.
Because you can spend money, but there's a difference between money and brand recognition, which is what that guy was trying to get at. He just did it poorly.
Yeah, I'm going to let Sidelines Houston chime in, because I don't know if I'd call Houston a pro sports town, but they have pro sports there. Maybe he's got different thoughts on that. And then, Rob, remind me, just so I don't forget, to make a point about Matt Wells. But Sidelines Houston, you can unmute and give us your thoughts whenever you're ready.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm on your side. So I actually grew up in Fort Worth. And anytime I saw TCU stuff out there, which is pretty rare, it was kind of like oh crap, yeah, like TCU is right down the road. And I know there's a caveat, like they are a small private school, they can only pump out so many, all that stuff. I get that. But yeah, growing up in Fort Worth, I never saw all that much TCU stuff. It was always Texas or Tech or OU or things like that. And going to Houston, I was actually surprised by the amount of people I saw in Houston wearing UH stuff. I know they're trying to get away from the image that they have that they're a commuter school, and it still kind of is that way, but they're working on it. And I think the thing is, it's easier that they're a public school. TCU and SMU, I always clown SMU for this. They always wear those Dallas jerseys, right? Billboards in Dallas around SMU will say like, "Oh, we're Dallas's team," but SMU's in the richest neighborhood in Texas. They're not really Dallas's team, right? They're a small amount of people that get to go there. Versus Lubbock or Manhattan or Ames or Stillwater, that's all there is, and that's so much better. So yeah, maybe Tech or Oklahoma State alumni won't donate as much. SMU's got the deep pockets, but when it comes to meaning anything in the town and having recognition, it's night and day.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, and that's actually another part of what Cody Campbell, kind of the leader of this Matador Club NIL collective, one of his points is that it can't just be the deep pockets donors. Like, every school has a few of those, but the advantage that a school like Texas Tech and probably Houston has is you have hundreds of thousands of living alumni, and if everybody gave $5, $20, $100 over time, you can make a huge difference. Whereas a school like TCU with a quarter of the enrollment of Texas Tech, they just don't have the same volume behind it. And I got to ask you, while you're in here, the addition of Houston to the Big 12 adds a nice kind of symmetry within the state of Texas. The 2 private schools, both along the I-35 corridor, kind of, of course, are big rivals. And Tech, I think, needs a public school in the eastern half of the state to balance things out. So are y'all down for a West Texas, East Texas rivalry once y'all get here?
Oh yeah. That'd be awesome. I went to Lubbock once and loved it. It wasn't for a football game or anything, but I love all the college towns. I love that feel. I think that's what real college football is about. So yeah, I think, we played last year, we're playing this year. I think it's a good jump off point. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I think Rob is excited about that rivalry.
Yes, I am. And I'm going to try to get the team to wear white every time they come.
Yes. Yeah, we have to make that a tradition. If you know, you know. Celebrate Cotton.
All right, let's hear about Matt Wells.
Okay. Yeah, so let me preface this by saying I'm not trying to pile on. Like, he's gone. Wish him luck wherever he's going next. But I cannot help but just be amazed at the contrast between what is your favorite thing about Lubbock, versus this entire team, coaches, support staff, players, fan base, going to bat for the entire region today. Because when they said desert, they weren't just talking about Lubbock. They're talking about the Panhandle, the Permian Basin, anything west of the I-35 metropolis corridor. And that, to me, coaches talk about culture and all that crap all the time. What we saw today, that is culture, and that's real. And that is loving the place where you live, where you go to school. That's loving the double T. And that stuff goes deep. Like, that creates a bond between teammates. That makes them want to win, show out for the fans on and off the field. I freaking love that. And so, again, I'm not trying to pile on Wells. We know that didn't work out. But we went all the way to the opposite side of the spectrum, which is, I know where you and I live, Rob, which is the absolute admiration and love and chest pounding for West Texas. And this staff gets it.
Yeah, you talk about the opposite theory when you're hiring new coaches, and I don't think people realized just in all the ways that Joey McGuire and the staff is going to be opposite of what Matt Wells is running here. And again, it's not really any disrespect to Matt Wells. It's just the honest truth. You just have a different feel about the program. And it feels silly on July 19th to say that this was a pivotal moment in the McGuire era. But there's a lot worse things you can do in the offseason than unite a fan base, even for something as silly as putting a bunch of damn cactuses on your Twitter accounts. All right, we have Tom joining us. Tom, what's up, man?
I'm just enjoying this day. This has been such a great day. It's July 19th, 2022. We've got the MLB All-Star Game going on, and we're trending on Twitter. How do we do that? That's how awesome we are. Love what Ryan said about Sonny Dykes and trying to recruit west of Weatherford, and even more loved Amon G. Cactus. Proud to be associated with you guys. Love you. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it there, Tom.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's, hey, we're just doing this to have a good time. And we thought the offseason was going to be slow. That's why we, if those of you, I guess probably most of y'all tuning in, follow us on Twitter, just came up with a bunch of random lists thinking we'll need something to talk about in the middle of July. And we didn't today or last week when TCU's athletic director decided to make a clown out of himself. But it's been fun. So I'm glad we're keeping things interesting while there aren't any games being played.
This is the slowest day in sports. Don't you know that, Kyle?
Is it today?
Yo, I guess tomorrow is technically when when Major League Baseball is off one more day.
Okay. Yeah, that's like one of what is it the only day where there's none of the four major sports?
Yeah, I believe so.
Holy cow. Yeah. All right. Anyway, Alex Root, did you like the more like Amon G. Cactus tweet?
I did. That was a very high quality tweet.
I thought of you when I sent that.
Thanks. I just wanted to say that I was talking to my mom. Called me right before y'all went live, so I missed the very beginning. But it's crazy when your parents call you and talk about this bozo from TCU galvanizing the entire Tech fan base against another team. You're like, I don't know what the heck you think you're going to accomplish. And I also just wanted to say that, since basically April 1st of last year, it's been kind of a renaissance to be a Tech fan. We're all against somebody. Maybe that's just our natural hatred for everyone else that, unites us Tech fans. But, we've been Chris Beard, Tech Twitter, Red Raider Sports, whatever, got Joey McGuire hired. And then this today, my entire timeline is just Cactus tweets from McGuire, Mahomes, all old players, current players, future players, recruits. It's just been incredible.
You're absolutely right. And I think we were talking about this in the Discord server today that we have, and just how united this fan base has been over the last year plus. Like after Beard left, And then the groundswell support for Mark Adams. And then, of course, they had a great season, which only amplified that. And you saw it with the home attendance at the basketball games, the blackout, whiteout, red out of our profile pictures. And then, during football season, of course, didn't go as well as we'd hoped, but, made your first bowl game in a while, won your first bowl game since 2013. And the fan base, again, unified behind Joey McGuire. And like I said earlier, the ones that maybe didn't quite know him when he got hired, I think have gotten glimpses of him over the last several months. And then you fast forward to today and it's like, man, it really does feel like a sleeping giant has been awakened. And to Rob's point earlier, this is before you've played a down of football under this administration. Like, can you imagine what it's going to be like if they come out of the gates and start winning some games and you already have this amount of energy and support behind it? It's just going to multiply even more. And I can't wait to see that happen.
Hey, Kyle, I have a question real quick before we bring in Chuck.
Okay.
Did you have some bagel bites tonight?
No, I had some tacos and I browned the ground beef in a cast iron skillet.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Do you wish you had something else for dinner? Maybe
Well, yeah, I mean, I could always go for some Regino barbecue, Texas Monthly Top 50. I'm not sure where their mobile trailer is going to be this weekend, but follow them at Regino BBQ on Twitter and Instagram, and I bet they've got it posted there. Or if you don't want to chase them all around West Texas, you can just go check them out in Olton. Great barbecue. In my opinion, the best in the world. Chuck, what's up, man?
Mr. Prime, what's up, Chuck? Moment there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
Yes, sir. Well, now we can't, or I can't.
No, I can't hear you now there, Chuck.
Chuck, come on, man.
Come on, Chuck.
No,
there he is.
the echo. I think she was speaking just a second. Kind of your point. It felt like we kind of wandered in the desert. We talked about this a little bit with Adams, but it felt like this whole fan base. Because, Kyle, you and I were in school around the same time. Like, we remember angry, hateful Tech fans, and it was a lot of fun to be a Red Raider back then. And then for a real long time, we had moments, but didn't have a whole lot of them. And with this hire, it kind of seems like we've got it really feels like we've got a lot more coming, and I'm just really, really excited about it.
I'm with you.
It's kind of like when Stella got her groove back.
No comment on that.
No, nobody.
It's exactly like that.
Well, Chuck, you used the analogy wandering through the desert, and man, we couldn't have picked.
I enjoy a good pun.
Yeah, we couldn't have picked a better emoji, and that TCU assistant couldn't have picked a better. Couldn't have had better word choice to bring everything full circle here. And this here, folks, we are in the midst of greatness, Texas Tech Twitter greatness. Briggsy, I think, is the first one who put the Cactus in his display name. And then in the Discord, I was like, hey, should we all do this? And he was like, I've already done it. Let's go. And so that's when it took off.
Hey, boys, it's a pretty good little day, isn't it?
It's a beautiful day.
I'd say so.
I've always said, not being one of the youngest on our Discord or Twitter or anywhere, there's a major element of we all have a chip on our shoulder. And I also go back to the Marine mantra of no better friend, no worse enemy. And man, Texas Tech Twitter is like stepping in a fire ant mound. And I think we have seen that today. It's incredible. And just, I'm glad that I didn't need to be productive at work today, because I sure as hell wasn't. But you guys, I make my pitch. Everybody needs to be on the Discord. It's a blast, and love y'all.
Thanks, Briggsy. The Discord he's referring to, $5 a month, gets you access to our Patreon, exclusive interviews, early access to our public interviews. We've interviewed Matt Mooney, Cody Campbell, Fardaws Amack, Sonny Cumbie is our most recent one, and actually, as fate would have it, We're talking to an NIL professional tomorrow who works with student athletes in the NIL space, and had that plan before the Matador Club announcement, before this stuff blew up with TCU. So it should be a good time. Rob, what else do you got?
Well, we have Shelly waiting in line.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that.
Hey, y'all. I just wanted to say I had to be on the ball at work today, and I missed out on most of the fun. But coming back from my work day to this community and seeing what my school has done today, let's not ever forget, like, there's power in just being a fan and showing up. And I also wanted to disagree with Kyle's criticism, because I thought how Stella got her groove back was hilarious, Rob. So thank you.
Appreciate
That's
that.
it.
Oh, I don't have any criticism. I don't even understand the reference.
Kyle doesn't know movies.
Yeah, sorry.
Catch up, Kyle.
Yeah, I'll Google it tonight. Read up on it on Wikipedia.
You and Mrs. Gaucho can watch it this weekend.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. I will say, though, shout out to Joey McGuire and the team. They basically waited till like 6 p.m., I think, to really set off some fireworks. Like, yeah, there was stuff all day on Twitter and even going back to last night. But once like Joey was in on it and Mahomes was in on it, that was well after 5 p.m. So hopefully fans that were working today didn't miss out on too much of the good stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide how I want to attack this on KCAM.com. I usually try to put some like tweets in there of reactions and whatnot. I don't know if I can fit 2,000 tweets into a WordPress article, but I'm going to try.
You were on the ball last night, too. Somebody was like, hey, I missed all the Twitter action. I need a summary. And you were already halfway through your draft on KCAM.com.
Yeah, one more time. That's KCAM.com.
Is there an app where people can listen to you every day, Rob?
Yeah, Talk 1039 weekdays, 11 to 1 with Ryan Hyatt in the Raiderland on Talk 1039. That's the app.
Good stuff. We got Michael from 23 Personnel, who we just did the ambitious crossover event with. And that was after the TCU AD tweet, but before yesterday's nonsense. So what's up, Michael?
Hey, man. Yeah, we may have to refer to this as like BC, as in before cacti. I'm not sure how we fill this in on the timeline, but I just wanted to chime in really quick and brag on you guys. I can't believe that this basically started from Briggsy's suggestion. You guys rolling with it, jumping headfirst into it. It's been fantastic. The only thing I wanted to mention was, am I correct in remembering that Joey McGuire's press conference, did he say that Texas Tech was a sleeping giant, or was that at a different time?
Well, there's the rumored 232-page binder that he took into the interview.
Okay.
Which grows in pages, that was labeled allegedly waking the sleeping giant. He might have said in his press conference too.
Well, I just remember that being thrown around, and we're seeing it, guys. I mean, y'all are a big part of it. The NIL deals, everything we've seen, the stadium south end zone expansion that I hope has, 5 pump jacks and a couple of cacti floating around. We're seeing it, and it's really cool to be a part of this. Like a lot of your guys mentioned before, in July, to be able to see things happening right before our eyes. And Tech is a sleeping giant. I think we're seeing it. We're seeing the fans that are just hungry to win. I think that's the big knock on TCU, is they're just kind of passive about it, and unless they want to talk about a 3-0 winning record against whatever we put out on the field the last few years wasn't quite as up to par for our standards anyway. But I just think we're seeing it finally come to realization, and that's all I had. You guys are awesome. Love everybody. Bye.
Thanks, man. And I agree. I think if you look ahead 2 or 3 years from now, what piece of the puzzle will be missing? The staff is in place. They're recruiting like crazy. The facilities will be in place. The NIL is in place. The crowd support, if it's anything like the Twitter support, if you have 60,000 mad Red Raiders in the Jones every Saturday, what is going to be missing from this program that will be needed to compete for Big 12 championships in the year 2025?
I'll take not a damn thing for 500, Alex.
So let's freaking go then. We got another parlay picador, Mr. Chase. What's up, man?
I don't want to say. Oh yeah, there you go, Chase.
No, what's up? Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I was just going to say Chase was pivotal in getting a couple, like Patrick Mahomes for sure. I think he sent Patrick Mahomes 42 cactuses.
Yeah, whatever that number was. Hopefully that's an average points that we get this season. So, I want to kind of, piggyback on what you just said there, Kyle. Last season was, last decade has been terrible. Last season was the worst fan attendance at 52,000 average. I don't see how we're not averaging 58,000 fans a game this year. I just don't. Like, the buy-in is completely there. If I wasn't having a kid, then I would absolutely have season tickets and drive my ass from Houston every weekend.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with it being the year with Texas and Oklahoma too. But for this to be Joey's first year and potentially the final time you play Texas and Oklahoma in Lubbock, I mean, those games are going to be nuts. And if you play Oklahoma and it's close in the fourth quarter and you're really getting up to how Joey said that you're going to finish that game, beat Oklahoma, and tear down the south end zone on the same night, it's going to be an incredible atmosphere, and you're not going to want to miss it, for one.
Absolutely. And then also, I want to point out two things. Like, one was I'll say this. My dad was the guy that tweeted at the AD in TCU Athletics for their punk move of not selling tickets.
Notorious.
Oh, yeah. And then notorious. And then Briggs, he's like, hey, should we do this cactus thing, right? Those are two guys that graduated from Tech in the 80s. Our entire fan base is hungry. This is not Utah with a bunch of 23-year-olds. This is not UCF with a bunch of people under 40. This is our entire fan base generationally is hungry. And that matters because that generation has money to donate and give. And if you're not giving to the Matador Club, then what are you even doing here?
Absolutely.
Amen.
And, hey, a portion of all the Patreon proceeds go to the Matador Club. I tweeted this earlier. I think those guys would only be making like $24,995 a year without the Parlay Picadors contributions. And so we really stepped up to the plate. And imagine this. The Jones is rocking, you beat OU, and then you're going to take out the south end zone. What if you just commission the students to start the process that night? Like, hey, don't rip down the goalpost. Just get to work on the bleachers and the south end zone building. And
take home whatever you can get.
Yeah, help us with the demolition.
They used to do that on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
When A&M was in town.
Yep. Chase said something else I had a thought on, and now I forgot it. Oh, he said that Briggsy graduated Tech in the 80s. I think that was like 1989, like December of 1989. So not any earlier than that. Can you confirm, Briggsy?
Maybe slightly a little before that. At least, I thought you were going to say 1889.
No, I was trying to help you out. Rob, the other kind of, we can circle back to any of this TCU beef at any point, but the other development over the last few days has been kind of some concrete news related to conference realignment. The merger is off, and the Pac-12, as best I can tell, regressed in their stage of denial, and now they're talking about an ACC partnership again, which I thought everybody was over that. Like, when are they just going to finally cave and be like, okay, 4 or 6 of us are joining the Big 12? Why are they doing this?
Well, I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised, but there was a lot of steam today for SMU and San Diego State to join the Pac, which I do not understand. And I get it that Houston and BYU and UCF and Cincinnati joined last year to the Big 12, but there were still 5 power conferences at that point, and there was no option but that. There are options here. And for the Pac-12 to be staring at $25 million a year in the face and be okay with that, I think tells you everything you need to know. And if you're the Big 12, you have an opportunity to be in a position of strength where you only add a school if it's going to help you. There's no reason to add Wazoo. There's no reason to merge with Oregon State. Oregon, sure, that gives you value. The Arizona schools, sure, those give you value. Utah pairing them with BYU gives you value. I don't even know that Colorado gives you revenue. I don't know the numbers there, but I would not reach on any Pac-12 school, but I think it's coming. I mean, it has to.
I just feel like at this rate, they're going to do this ACC thing for another couple days, and then when that dies, Oregon and Washington are going to apply to the Big Ten and just like keep moving backwards, and they're going to be told no again, and it's like, when are y'all just going to bite the bullet and go to the Big 12? Like, at this point, I think Arizona and Arizona State probably want out. If those are the only two you get, I'm cool with that, because I feel like there's no way they sign up for a new conference with Oregon and Washington having one foot out the door, and their new competition is San Diego State and SMU when they could just move to the Big 12. I don't know. I guess I could be wrong, but I feel like – and then at that point, if Arizona and Arizona State are gone and you're using San Diego State and SMU just to get to 10, and you still have Oregon State, Wazoo, and the Bay Area schools in there, there's just no TV value there. And I guess the latest idea that's been floated is Oregon and Washington could take an extra chunk, like an unequal piece of the pie on the revenue sharing to make it feasible for them. But I mean, it's trending toward them having to take like 70%, and then the rest goes to everyone else. I mean, there's no way that they can make more in a 10-team Pac-10 with SMU and San Diego State than by just joining the Big 12. I wouldn't think.
No, I agree. Hey, sorry to interrupt here. 18th trending, hashtag Wreckham on Twitter. It says Texas Tech Red Raider fans share the cactus emoji in support of their team. The cactus is officially trending, Kyle.
Let's go.
8,000 tweets deep.
Wow. I think West Texas was trending on a smaller scale earlier today and yesterday. And Lubbock was trending today. Texas Tech was trending. So, man, our fan base could show out for sure. We needed to show up in the TV numbers, though. That'll feel really good.
It's also Gerlich and Tadlock and Adams and I mean everybody. It's a and again, not to delve all this again because we're talking about realignment, but you insulted an entire just region. It wasn't just a Texas Tech stab. It just is amazing to me that happened. But yeah, I agree with everything you're saying about what you need to do as a Big 12 member. And really the most important thing the Big 12 can do right now is just be patient. And I don't think they need to do anything or will do anything until August 1st when Yormark steps into the building on day one as an official commissioner.
I think that's part of the holdup. I think if there is some sort of like legal action, whatever, I think he needs to be the commissioner to sign off on it. And I agree. I mean, wait it out as long as it takes for them to get whatever TV numbers they need. If ESPN comes back and they don't get the numbers they like and they try something else and they don't get the numbers they like, just wait them out. I mean, eventually they're going to realize that we'll make more money going to the Big 12 and they'll do it. I'm getting impatient as a fan just because I want to see the dust settle. But I don't know. Like I said, it just feels like we're in a loop of denial where they're like, okay, the merger is over, so now we're going to look back at the ACC. And it's like, no, guys, that story died 2 weeks ago. There's no ACC partnership or merger. That's not happening. I don't know what it's going to take to get through their thick skulls. But we got another guest speaker, Keaton Lytle. What's up, man?
Howdy. I was noticing, especially while we were talking, both the trending Wreckham hashtag, but also another thing while we were talking realignment and all that. I was thinking about the new Big 12, right as I've seen today, like 5 UCF accounts also in solidarity tweeting some cactuses, which I think is just the greatest thing ever. And I think it's insane that it's gone to the point where it's beyond just Tech fans now, and it's getting really ridiculously big. But I think it's it's interesting both, from a brand perspective and the conference perspective and everything. It's ridiculous to the point that it's making me incredibly happy today.
Yeah, I love it too. I think I saw an Iowa State fan. He has like the tornado emoji in his username, and he added the cactus. And he said that like a tornado full of cactuses sounded cool. And like I remember making the Mark Madness profile picture banners for some Iowa State fans. Like they had a team in the tournament, and they were putting the Mark Madness logo on their Twitter profile picture. So I think there's, especially with Iowa State and Kansas State, for whatever reason, it seems there's a lot of mutual love between our fan bases and their fan bases. And so it is cool to see, your conference brethren sort of back you up against schools like TCU or Baylor, whoever it might be. I think it's also trending that way, kind of bringing this back to the conference realignment. If and when Utah joins, I think everybody in the Big 12 is going to pull for BYU in that matchup just based on their Twitter interactions with Utah fans. And so I'm curious to see in the new Big 12 how these alliances form. And I hope our reputation is one of like, essentially, you don't want to cross us on Twitter. We'll make a great Twitter ally for you. But if your AD and your assistant coaches start tweeting nonsense about Lubbock and Texas Tech, we will go to bat for our own.
I also don't think TCU is ever getting back on the good side. I think they're dead to us, right?
Yeah, unless they just help you on the field somehow. Like if they knock off somebody that you needed to lose, I could see them maybe.
There might be a brief respite, but I'm not going to ever be back on their side now.
No, the cactus will live on forever.
What sucks is I wanted to cheer for Sonny this year. I mean, their head coach is a Red Raider. Their stadium was named after a Red Raider. They have Lubbock and West Texas kids on the roster. But that one guy and nothing else has completely, that frog down guy or whatever, but it just is amazing. It's amazing the turn and the denseness to just keep doubling and tripling and quadrupling down. It's just amazing to me.
I welcome it. I'm glad they're doing it. Like I said, all it did was help awaken the sleeping giant that is our fan base. Not even talking about the football program, but when you've got a fan base that, you've won one bowl game in the last 9 years, and we need something to galvanize around in the middle of July. I mean, they just fed it to us on a silver platter. So thank you. We got another Texas Tech Twitter goat in our presence, El Jefe. What's up, man?
In the words of the great Kent Hance, I love Texas Tech. When Twitter needed a cactus emoji trending, they called on the Red Raiders to do it.
That's
this
right.
Has been so much. This has been so much fun. Sorry for my Kent Hance impersonation. I did the best I could.
I thought you were going to say when the Red Raiders needed an emoji, they didn't go to the eggplant.
Oh, that's true.
They didn't go. they didn't go to the winky face. They went to the cactus.
See, I failed in my impersonation right there.
Hey, what's up?
This has just been and I said it last time, and whenever I spoke in your last Twitter space, it's just been so stinking fun to just see the unification of our fan base. We've just been so fractured, and it's so amazing. And I don't know about you guys or anybody else, but I'm at the point where, because we still get insulted by the other fan bases. It's pretty common. We haven't had a great track record in football. We know that, but I dismiss it because and maybe I'm delusional. Maybe we're delusional. We're fans. We're allowed to be that way. But I see the big picture. I'm not expecting this great season this year. I'm just not. Just having a new coach is generally not historically speaking, a good thing. You usually struggle the first year. So I'm looking at next year. I'm looking at 2 and 3 years down the road. And that's what excites me. And so I know that, some of the insults deserved, but it doesn't bother me. I mean, it bothers me, but you know what I'm saying? I guess there's hope for a future. I feel like I'm talking like a preacher now. There's hope for a future. But Jeremiah, was that Jeremiah 29:11? I feel like I guess I just feel like I'm having more fun. I'm not having to defend my Tech fandom.
Yeah, Joey.
I feel like
Joey
you know
knows.
what. Take your shots now because we're coming. I don't know when it's going to be, but we're coming.
I'm with you. I think we will get the last laugh whenever that is. And to your point, I don't think Texas Tech and Lubbock are ever going to get rid of the, like out there in the desert type insults or whatever he tweeted. But just even like owning our identity and like, okay, say whatever you want about Lubbock. Here's another cactus emoji. And I'm going to botch it, but a good friend of ours on Twitter, the Lubbockist, tweeted something to the effect of, it's especially ironic coming from TCU in Fort Worth that kind of leads into this romanticized cowboy culture. But then when they want to talk about actual West Texas, an economy that is built on livestock, agriculture, all that, then all of a sudden they're looking down their nose at it. And so to me, it sounds like they're talking out both sides of their mouth, and we just need to embrace West Texas. And I think that's something, this is a little thing, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like when you play the spring game in Dallas, I get why you do that. There's some recruiting there, but like I'm not ashamed of West Texas. We need to lean into it. The players, I think, love it here. The coaches love it here, at least based on the response we saw today. And so I say let them keep lobbing those insults, and we'll just keep sending out cactus emojis and loving the place we live.
Yeah, and one more thing. I know you got another speaker, but I believe the first coach to add it to his name was Zarnell, the quarterback hunter who came from TCU. So if there's one coach that maybe should be hesitant, it should be him. But no, he went full on, I got you. I'm adding it now. And then he followed me, and I was like, oh, dude, best day ever. Quarterback hunter followed me.
Pretty amazing. All right, Hakeem, what's up, man?
Afternoon, guys. Just one question for you. What do you guys think the over-under is on Brian Cryington, his time at TCU? Does he last more than a year? I think he was at Texas for 3 years and USC for a year. So the great recruiter, how long does he stay in Fort Worth?
I hope for his sake the over cashes, because he's not going to get a second revenue stream from his Twitter tips like he used to. So I hope he remains gainfully employed. I'll take the over.
I will say this. Coaches from the beginning of time have put their foots in their mouths, and I think that's what Brian did. There was a Texas Tech coach last year that did the same. I've done it. That Texas Tech coach is still here, so I don't know that he's going to get fired over this. But I would assume that somebody has had a conversation with that guy to maybe think about or run some tweets by people in charge before you just start spouting off. Because I don't know that he even realizes what he's done.
Man, to pay to be a fly on the wall in both the Texas Tech coaches war room today and the TCU coaches war room today, I would have paid big money to be there. Briggsy, I think you're raising your hand. You got something to say?
No, must be pilot error. My bad.
No, you're good. I just didn't want to keep ignoring you. I saw the hand emoji doing this, and I was like, maybe he's trying to politely cut in here. So,
or like polite picador.
Yeah, polite picadors. Hey, did you know? I found this out doing a little bit of homework. Did you know the the freshman team at Texas Tech before freshmen could play on the varsity team. They were called the Picadors.
I did not know that. There you go.
Yeah,
we kind of got the Los Gauchos and the Gauchos and the Picadors.
Yeah. Anyway, I kind of sidetracked us there, but one of the guys who's our countdown to kickoff was he set the all-time Picadors rushing record as on the freshman team. So that's how I found that out. I can't put my hand down either. It doesn't look like it. I feel like that's stuck up there. Okay. Rob, any final thoughts? Did we not get to anything that we need to cover?
Yeah, well, I just want to make sure everyone knows how awesome Cole Roberts is and the folks over at Diversified Lenders.
Yeah, can you explain what they do over at Diversified Lenders?
I can't, but you can call Cole Roberts or find him on Twitter, and he can. I mean, that's why he gets paid the big bucks, is because he can explain. And if you need to pay your employees and you can't do that, they can do that, and they can purchase some invoices, I think is what you say in the ad read, and they can do it all, man. I don't know what it is, but they're much smarter than I am because they graduated from Texas Tech.
Yeah, it's on diversifiedlender.com. You can try and figure it out. It's a bit of a riddle to me anyway, but I'm not very smart, so.
Yeah, well, we try.
We try.
We also need to tell the people about one more business.
Maybe a couple more. Code Ninjas in Lubbock, they're doing summer camps. If you got kiddos and you want them to learn about computer coding and how to build a YouTube channel, all kinds of fun stuff, you can get $10 off using the promo code Gauchos, and that's good for any of the summer camps at the Lubbock location. Check them out at codeninjas.com. Also, if you have any legal troubles of sorts, like if you tweet something defamatory about another person and then you get dragged all day, or you want to sue somebody over bullying you on Twitter and you lost your Twitter tips button, you can call Barnett, Howard, and Williams, based out of Fort Worth. So fellow West Texans, but they handle cases all across the state of Texas. BHWlawfirm.com if you need to consult with them for anything.
Those are beautiful. I don't have any more final thoughts, man. I'm good. I love Texas Tech Twitter. I think what we're doing is amazing. The Gauchos, me and Kyle, very small part of it, but we're glad to be here. We love everyone that's a part of it and has joined in the last couple of months. We're growing because of the people, and we always want to put back and give back, and that's why our Parlay Picadors add money to the Matador Club. It's not about us. It's about improving West Texas, where we love, where we live, where we grow our brand, where we grow our businesses.
See what you did there.
Where we want to be. And I love West Texas so much, and thank God he put me in the desert, right?
That's right, man. Living it up out here in the desert. That's all I got. We'll be back as soon as Arizona and Arizona State are announced to the Big 12, hopefully tomorrow. You can check it out in the Tucson newspaper, I guess. Until then, keep tweeting those cactus emojis. We love Texas Tech Twitter. Love y'all.